Nick Nixon back between periods of our Kings simulcast, and tonight, of course, marks the opening of the 1982 Stanley Cup playoffs. The Kings involved once again, and we're chatting with a gentleman who has had the fortune of being on the Stanley Cup champion New York Islanders for each of the last 2 seasons. We're talking with center Bryan Trottier. And Bryan, as your club and the other 15 clubs go into this 1982 Stanley Cup setup, I guess your club has to be, again, the favorite to repeat.
Well, we think so. We're confident. We're not overconfident. We know that the teams that were in the playoffs last year got some good experience, and they got some confidence from it. And we anticipate a tough battle throughout, especially with the divisions being set up the way they are now, and then the conferences. We expect a tough battle, which is good. The competition is great, and the fans enjoy it, and certainly the players will enjoy it.
You mentioned the new divisional alignments, and I guess your conference would have to be considered the stronger of the two. And if you make it to the finals again this year, you really will have done your work.
Well, I don't know if it's a stronger of the two. Definitely looks like by the point standing that there's some tough teams that we're going to have to go through. Philly, Rangers, Montreal, Buffalo, Boston. They're all contenders, and they always will be tough in the playoffs. And by no means is it going to be an easy chore. And the teams out here, I guess, have been playing pretty well, and they're going to be tough against each other at the same time. So I don't think anybody has a pass into the finals at all.
We're talking with Bryan Trottier, center with the New York Islanders. Bryan, have you found it tougher to stay on top now that you've won the Cup for the last 2 years than it was in comparison in getting to be number one?
No, not at all. I think the players all have a certain amount of pride. They go out there and they work hard. We have a system that if we concentrate on it and execute well, we'll do really well in a hockey game and generally win. A lot of teams are playing their best hockey against us. It seems to me like Colorado can come into our building and play us the same way as the Rangers or Philadelphia or any team. They always play their best hockey for us, and we found that we get up and by saying that no matter who we're playing, let's get ready, and because they're going to be playing the best possible game they can play, and if we're prepared in that way, then at least we're not going out there just expecting 2 points.
Your coach, Al Arbor, I'm sure, has tried to come up with different ways during the practices and during the regular season to keep you at the peak level. Do you find that Al is doing that?
Well, I think Lorne and Al, the two of them combined, Lorne Henning, the assistant coach, the two of them combined have come up with a lot of different drills, some interesting practices, which, monotony doesn't set in, and that in itself is a big plus. We've gotten when we're working hard, the coach will reward us with a day off, which nobody takes for granted, because we certainly appreciate it. And I think the disappointments that we've had in the past when we should have done well have made us appreciate what we're having now, and there's just no substitute for experience. And this team, I think, has had their share of disappointments as well as successes.
Earlier this season, your club set a National Hockey League record, 15 straight victories, 15 wins, no losses, and no ties, of course. What was the feeling during that streak, especially when you were approaching the record?
Well, the funny thing was, it didn't really dawn on us until, we got up around 10, 11 wins, and it just all of a sudden people started talking about it more and more, and to us it was just a matter of going out there, and we were really having a lot of fun at the time, and there's some things said that February is going to be our worst month, and we looked at it and says, hey, we can do something about this, and with the victories and all coming one after another, let's take advantage of this situation and prove to some people that we're not a team that's going to just try to turn it around in March and April and May, that we can do something in February, March, and April and May, and again. The excitement, the intensity, and the flow seemed to be there, and we just took advantage of a great situation, and the guys had a tremendous amount of fun, and we had a great way of getting the 15th victory when John Tonelli scored with 47 seconds left, and it came to a peak, and it was great. It was a lot of fun.
From a player's standpoint, Are there areas on your club where you need improvement? You seem to have a perfectly blend hockey club. If you want to play it aggressive, you can play it that way and be successful. If you can get involved in a finesse game with other clubs, you can do that and be successful. But from a player standpoint, are there areas, are there certain maybe positions where you feel that maybe you could use some improvement?
Well, we certainly feel that right now with the 2 Stanley Cups behind us and the players that were there, they know the system. We feel very comfortable with everybody who's on the team, and whenever somebody, like Gordy Lane comes into the lineup, we're very confident he's very capable of going out there and playing a great game and filling in if somebody's injured or if Al wants to try different line combinations. Who's ever out there seems to know the system, and everybody feels very comfortable with one another. Al interchanges a lot of the lines throughout the regular season, so come playoff time, everybody is feeling comfortable playing with one another. We feel that no changes are necessary now. This team hasn't won anything, of course, but going into the playoffs, we feel we have the upper hand on a lot of teams because everybody knows the system, they know the flow, and we know each other very, very well.
One last question for Bryan Trottier. This year, 1981-82, I guess will be considered in years to come as the Wayne Gretzky year. Of course, Gretzky setting so many records, and a lot of people compare Wayne Gretzky to yourself. Who is the better center iceman? I would think that you would be in awe or very much appreciative of the fact that people will compare the two of you.
Oh yeah, it is a tremendous compliment, I think, to both of us. There's a lot of things that Wayne does that I can't do, and there's a few things that I do that Wayne doesn't do, and there'll always be those comparisons. I remember when I come into the league, and people automatically started comparing me to some of the greats, Gilbert Perreault and Phil Esposito. To me, it was a tremendous compliment. So for me to get compared to somebody as great as Wayne Gretzky it's a tremendous amount of it's a tremendous compliment. At the same time, I'm in no competition with Wayne as far as headlines go, or I'm not envious of him in any way, because along with all that publicity, there comes a lot of pressures put on you by the media and the fans, and some of it becomes a little too much sometimes. But he handles it well, and I only have nice things to say about Wayne. And when we get on the ice, I don't think all friendships end there, because we both want to win so much.
Bryan Trottier, one of the premier centers in the National Hockey League. Bryan, along with the rest of his Islander teammates, going for a 3rd straight Stanley Cup, as once again the Stanley Cup playoffs have begun this evening. Bob and I will be back with more in 2 minutes. This is the Los Angeles Kings Hockey Network.